organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up tonight on Daily Iowan TV.
You've heard of collecting baseball cards, but what about cop cards? We have more on how the Iowa City Police are getting creative.
And some Johnson County Jail inmates are being moved. We have where they're going and why next.
It was a big win for men's hoops at home Sunday night.
3 Iowa players scored in double digits to take down Maryland. Find out who in sports.
You can expect all of this and more coming up next.
This is Daily Iowan TV.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Abigail Meyer.
And I'm Selena Carr. Improvements are in order for the Johnson County Jail this spring, and that means inmates will have to go, at least until the work is done. Johnson County Sheriff Lonnie Polkovic says anywhere from 70 to 90% of the jail's inmates will be housed at the Muscatine County Jail while repairs and improvements are made. The project will cost nearly $900,000 and should be done by late July. Polkovic says that doesn't factor in the cost of rehousing the inmates, which will run Johnson County $45 a day per prisoner. The Muscatine County Jail is about 40 miles away from Iowa City.
You've heard of kids trading cards featuring their favorite Pokemon heroes or the champions of baseball. So how about heroes of law enforcement? Sarah Hadley found out how the Iowa City Police Department hopes that they call cop cards will help shift the community's viewpoint of officers.
Turn on the TV. It's hard to miss. Accusations of unfair or rough treatment by those who sign on to serve and protect our communities. Police brutality has become a hot phrase, not just on the national scale, but here in Iowa City. Remember when this video went viral on Facebook? Many called how ICPD broke up this house party too harsh. Then this one, a man claims he was unfairly tackled to the ground despite cooperating with police. Now, Iowa City Police have a plan to combat it. Cop cards, the 6th edition playing cards that highlight the men and women who enforce our laws.
This is a different way to interact with the police department rather than reading it in the news.
The cards feature 35 of ICPD's 84 officers with representatives from each department. Some are professional, some show off hobbies, and some are quite funny. And of course, you can't forget the K9.
It is about, reaching out to the community members and simply showing them, despite all of the darkness in the country, we are your neighbors and we're in this community with you. It's about all of us.
Police say requests come in from across the country for these cards. They are free to the public and every featured officer carries their card. All you have to do is ask. Reporting from Iowa City, for Daily Iowan TV, I'm Sarah Hadley.
A woman from Cedar Rapids was charged with child endangerment in Coralville after caring for her infant daughter while drunk. Police officers found 39-year-old Angelica Schultz in the parking lot of a hotel yesterday morning, carrying her 6-month-old in a car seat. The baby was wearing nothing but a dress with her bare legs exposed. Schultz told police officers that she thought she was in Cedar Rapids and was outside because her boyfriend had taken their car. She also faces a charge of public intoxication.
The Iowa Senate has cleared a new bill that will impact Iowa teens who love to indoor tan. Senate File 40 bans persons under the age of 18 to use indoor tanning facilities, regardless of parental consent. This bill has been cleared based on concerns of the link between tanning and skin cancer. This file will now be passed on to the Iowa Senate Human Resources Committee. Tanning has become very popular for high schoolers as they prepare for school dances, but they may now have to rely on sunless tanning or tanning from natural sunlight.
I feel that it does help reduce the early stages of skin cancer among younger women or just anyone who tans, but also it does affect the way that girls do perceive themselves.
Well, the sidewalks out there are pretty clear.
Yeah, it's definitely starting to shape up and really warm up outside. But let's toss it over to Beth over in the weather studio. Beth, what can we expect?
Well, guys, the weather looks pretty decent this week. Tomorrow is looking fairly mild with a high in the mid-30s with mostly cloudy skies. We start the morning off on the chillier side with temperatures in the high teens to low 20s. Melted slush and snow may freeze overnight, so be cautious on your walk to class. As we move into the afternoon, temperatures start to warm up, reaching the low 30s. On into tomorrow evening, temperatures thankfully don't drop and stay right around the high 20s and low 30s for most of the evening. And for the rest of the week, precipitation chances are very slim compared to our previous snowy week. We see temperatures once again dropping on Thursday into the frigid mid-teens. Friday warms back up with temperatures in the high 20s and low 30s. Unfortunately, the temperatures reach those mid-teens again on Sunday. And that's all I have for you guys in the weather studio. Back to you at the desk.
Today, President Barack Obama and German Chancellor Angela Merkel held a press conference discussing the violence between Ukraine and Russia. During the conference, both Merkel and President Obama stated that they have been exploring options to pressure Russia to respect Ukraine's territory. Merkel emphasized that arming Ukraine is not in everyone's best interest and that solving the problem peacefully is the main goal. Capitol Hill lawmakers with support from Republican Senator John McCain have been urging Obama to arm Ukraine. Obama did allude to the idea that if this problem is not solved soon, that lethal defense weapons are an option.
Gay marriage is now accepted in another state despite an outspoken opponent's attempt to stop the marriages. This morning, Alabama began issuing marriage license for same-sex couples, but the state's chief justice was not excited about this outcome. The justice made an 11-hour attempt at blocking the nuptials. However, he was unsuccessful. Alabama is the 37th state to legalize same-sex marriage.
And only with Daily Iowan TV can you get a look at what is happening with the ethics and politics section of the Daily Iowan. We have reporter Quentin Mashek in the newsroom to tell us a little bit about his story for tomorrow. Quentin?
Thanks, guys. There's a lot happening in Iowa politics recently. Just today announced former governor of New York, George Pataki, will be attending the Iowa Agriculture Summit. Obviously, that is Board of Regent President Bruce Rastetter's big Republican and Democratic gathering for 2016 presidential hopefuls in Des Moines. He's actually replacing former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley, who also served as a Baltimore mayor on that trip. O'Malley backed out last week from that, and also just announced business mogul and Apprentice founder Donald Trump will be heading to Council Bluffs in May for a big Republican dinner. So certainly a lot happening with the upcoming Iowa caucuses in about a year, and we're certainly going to see a lot more Republican and Democratic hopefuls come through the state. That's all I've got so far from the Daily Iowan Ethics and Politics Initiative. You can check us out at dailyowanepi.com for more.
Thanks, Quentin, for the update. We'll make sure to check it out. And it was a big weekend for Iowa athletics as men's basketball came up victorious.
And against a ranked opponent, Selena, let's toss it over to our sports studio where Taylor Mathis and Zach Mackey are standing by with more on the game. Guys?
Thanks, Abby. Men's hoops grabbing their 4th victory over ranked opponents this season, along with their 1,000th home win at Carver Hawkeye over the weekend in what was one of their best performances of the year.
Jalen Socek was courtside Sunday afternoon and has the recap.
Better shooting, better ball control. That's what led the Hawkeyes to their 2nd straight victory here Sunday afternoon inside Carver Hawkeye Arena against the 17th ranked Maryland Terrapins. The Hawkeyes could not have gotten off to a better start against the Terps. Sophomore Peter Jock setting the pace, hitting the first shot of the game from behind the arc. Jared Utoff up next from out far with this 3-pointer, pushing the lead 13-2. Maryland's offense struggling to keep anything going, Iowa giving them 12 turnovers in the first half. 9:18 to go, Jock hitting another 3, Iowa now up 20-3. Here's some of that good ball movement mentioned earlier, Hawks making 6 passes before Woodbury puts it in to push Iowa to 24-5. Maryland's Melo Trimble trying to get things going, hitting 7 in a row. He'll account for 13 of Maryland's first half points. 2:03 left before intermission, and Aaron White getting to the rim. A lot of emotion coming from the senior forward. Iowa enters halftime up 40-17. You know that whole stalling out after halftime Iowa has been known to do? Not the case in this one. Iowa maintaining a comfortable lead. Jock good for another 3, 14:29 left on the clock. Iowa pushes their lead to 51-29. Hawkeyes go on to win this one 71-55.
Iowa's 64.3% shooting against Maryland is the best they've done in a single game since February of 2004.
Well, and what a win it was for the Hawkeyes, but you got to hand it to Maryland's Melo Trimble. running into a cameraman and then turning around and getting a finger in the face from Iowa's forward Adam Woodbury.
Sounds a little painful, but many other Hawkeye sports were in action over the weekend, and we've got the latest from our Whip Around crew. Take it away, Erin.
Thanks, guys. The Iowa men's gymnastics team traveled to Champaign this past weekend for a duel against Illinois. The number 8th ranked Hawks fell to the number 4 ranked Illini in a performance that Coach Reeves said does not reflect what his team is capable of. Junior Doug Sullivan was the only gym Hawk to win a title at the event, scoring 14.85 on the pommel horse. He was followed by senior Brandon Field, who placed second on the vault with a score of 14.7. You can catch Field and the rest of the senior gym Hawks as they host Minnesota this Saturday for senior night. Now I'll toss it over to Jordan, who has info on softball.
Thanks, Aaron. The University of Iowa softball team is off to a 3-2 record to start off the season after this weekend's UNI Dome tournament. To kick off the tournament, redshirt sophomore Shayla Starkenberg became the 7th pitcher in Hawkeye history to pitch a no-hitter in their 2-0 victory over Southern Utah. Later that day, the Hawkeyes took a loss 9-1 against North Dakota State. But this loss did not lower the Hawkeye spirits when they took on Wisconsin Green Bay the following morning and came away with a 6-0 victory behind Starkenberg, who was just 2 outs away from pitching another no-hitter. The team heads to Florida this weekend to take on the Gators on Saturday. Now I'll throw it over to Nicole, who has more on women's gymnastics.
Thanks, Jordan. The women's gymnastics team had a tough loss this weekend to Nebraska, where they fell short by 2.15 points. A sudden illness caused a last-minute change in the lineup, leading to a poor performance on the vaults. The Hawks pushed through, though, with stellar performances on the floor from senior Sydney Hare and on the beam from junior Allie Glover, who both posted scores of 9.875. Although the Hawks didn't bring home a win, head coach Larissa Libby said she was proud of the way her team bounced back. The Gym Hawks host Illinois this Saturday at 3 p.m. for their annual Think Pink Breast Cancer Awareness Meet. That's all for this week's Whip Around. Back to you guys at the studio.
Thanks, Nicole. Over the weekend, the Iowa women's tennis team advanced their home duel record to 3-0.
I took a look at how the Hawkeyes collected in your shutout match against Utah State. Yesterday, the women's tennis team conquered the undefeated Utah State Aggies 6-1. As the match started off with doubles play, Iowa's #1 duo, senior Shelby Telcott and junior Annette Dohanix, secured victory as they gathered a 6-1 win over their Aggie opponents. The #3 doubles match came down to an intense ending, but Iowa's Katie Zordani and partner Zoe Douglas finished with the win, clinching the point for the Hawkeyes and giving them a 1-0 lead, propelling them into singles play.
We won the doubles point. Obviously, it was a tight match. I thought that brought a lot of momentum into singles and winning a lot of first sets, and then eventually leading into wins and with getting the 6-1 overall win as a team.
Iowa continued to dominate as Zordani, Morven McCulloch, and Ellen Silver all picked up wins, while freshman Anastasia Remchen struggled to find her groove, falling 7-5 and 6-3 to the Aggies' Nina Gunzler, giving up Iowa's only point. Telcott and Dohanix maintained control of their singles matches by overcoming Mackenzie Davis of Utah State 7-6 and 6-3, and Sabrina Demrath of Utah State.
It feels pretty good, especially to go 3-0 at home before our away schedule. I think that's going to help us all a lot just mentally once we hit the road.
Heading out of Iowa with confidence in a win, the Hawkeyes now head into a string of road competition this weekend.
The Hawks take on Montana for their first road match on Valentine's Day.
That will do it for us here in the sports studio, but tune in Wednesday for a look into baseball's upcoming season.
Selena and Abby, back to you.
We also wanted to let you know about Daily Iowan Grand Giveaway Contest. If you read the Daily Iowan every day, there will be trivia questions about the Academy Awards. The grand prize is $1,000, so check it out. That's going to wrap it up for us here at Daily Iowan in the news studio. But make sure to check in again tomorrow night at the same time.
Or you can always watch us anytime at dailyiowa.com. I'm Selena Carr.
And I'm Abigail Meyer. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.